Hi, it's Beatty Carmichael and welcome to another edition of GetSellersCallingYou.com. By the way, you can go visit that website. We have a lot of great free information over there. Today I want to talk about your sphere of influence with your real estate business. And the sphere of influence is actually one of the hottest things you can do to generate more sales. I'm sure you've always heard this, as you know, from the time you started as a realtor all the way to today. And that is, if you stay in front of your friends, your family, your past clients, and your sphere of influence, then you'll have plenty of business. And that's absolutely true, because what happens is that list, which is what I call your personal list, is 8 to 10 times more responsive than any other list that you can touch. The biggest reason for that is they already know you. And because they already know you, they trust you. And trust is one of the most important things you can do in generating more business. So once you've got that trust handle, once you've met them, then the question is, how do you do it? How do you successfully and effectively stay in front of them? And so I've got my cheat sheet, so I want to say tight on this. One of the things that we do, okay, not a plug, but if you want to see what we do, agentdominator.info, because this is all we work on, is helping people double and triple their sales and referrals from their sphere of influence and past clients. But what we found is that there's a couple of things that are really important. Number one, you've got to have that list, and you need to have a mailing address and an email address with each one. If you don't have a way to touch them, in fact, I'll go a third thing, you've got to have your phone number, okay? You have to have a way to touch them. This is your personal list. They're expecting personal touches from you if you expect them to do business with you or send business to you. So generally speaking, when you're talking about touching your sphere of influence, at the minimum, okay, the very minimum, you want to be touching them 12 to 18 times a year. Now I say that's at the minimum because the people who get the best results, who learn how to do this well, are touching their list somewhere between 80 and 150 times a year, okay? Now that's not 80 and 150 times emails and postcards and phone calls and all these other things, but it's always being present, and there's some things that you can do to strategically do that. I'm going to try to cover just a real surface level on some of those on this video. But to keep this simple, let's keep it down to postcard mailings and email communication, and then obviously telephone. So the telephone is most important. They're all important, but let's start with telephone first. It's your personal list. You need to be talking to them at a minimum twice a year, if not 4 times a year. Pick up the phone and just say hello. If you know their birthday, pick up the phone and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, happy birthday. Or if they're a past client, pick up the phone and say, you know, I was just thinking about you. You know, it was a year ago today that you bought that new home. And I'm so excited for you guys, and I hope you've had a great time with it. Okay? Have some reason to call and just say hello. That's a personal touch. What that does is that lets them know you like them, you trust them, you value their relationship. Now, let's talk about the postcard, okay? So the postcard, there's lots of things you can do with the postcards. The simplest thing you can do, this is what anyone can do. Take every sale that you have, and if you have less than 12 sales a year, take every new listing and every sale, because at least that's going to get no less than 12, okay? And once a month, if not every 3 weeks, which is 18 times a year, you want to send out a just sold postcard to your list. But wait, hold on. They're not in the neighborhood where you just sold. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that your people know that you are actively selling. Why? Because they forget that you are selling. So when it comes time, when someone's sitting down at lunch and say, hey Jill, I'm thinking about selling my home. Do you have anyone you would recommend? And Sue starts scratching her head and says, well, you know, I keep seeing this agent signs Tom Smith all in my neighborhood. Why don't you give him a call? And you're going, wait, no, Beatty, I'm Beatty. I sell real estate. Why don't you tell him, refer me? Because I'm not sending just sold postcards. They forgot that I sell real estate. So as long as you send those all the time. Now, I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, but let me share one interesting piece of information. When I started working exclusively with realtors in 2012, I started asking realtors coming through our system and say, have you ever done any type of marketing? They go, yes. And at this point, we were focused with them on geographic farming. So I said, have you ever done any geographic farming? Yes. What type of marketing? They'd say postcards. Was it successful or not? In 100% of the cases, those that said it was successful when I asked them what they were doing, they were sending just sold postcards. Okay? So you want to send at the very least just sold postcards. But if you want to take a little bit deeper dive, there's actually a formula that we found. We call it the 3 S's. If you show off your successes, so that's showing off your sales. If you explain the secrets behind those successes, that is, give a little bit of information about what you did on that sale that made it successful. And then the 3rd S is what we call special services. I won't go into that. But if you cover those 2 things, show off your successes and explain the secrets behind them, and put that in your postcard, now you got a winner. Because now what's happening is you're educating them why they should choose you, why they should refer you over anyone else. Here's an easy way to understand it, okay? This is, in marketing, we call this actually the concept of outside perception versus inside reality. The outside perception of those people out there is that all agents are the same, and you're just like every other agent. You're going to stick a sign in the yard, list their home in the MLS, and just wait for someone else to bring a buyer. And because they believe that all agents are the same, they also believe it doesn't really matter who they choose. Any agent's going to get them the same price in about the same amount of time. Now, if you've been around for a while, if you're a top agent, you know that that is not true. So over here you have your inside reality. Your inside reality is how good you are. It's everything you know about you. That if they knew about you what you know about you, they would choose you every time. So if you can convey your inside reality to become their outside perception, that's when you win. And you can do that through postcard marketing. All you have to do, the easy way to do it, is take your listing presentation and divide it, rip out each page, so to speak, that each section, my integrity, my negotiating skill, my promotion, my preparation, my what it is, all these things. And then you send that as part of your postcard. So here's now the revised postcard. It's going to say, just sold, okay? And then you write something special about what just happened in terms of why that sale was important. These guys had to sell because they just got transferred and they needed to sell quickly. So my aggressive marketing, with my aggressive marketing, I got on the horn with it. I started to put together my 21-step marketing strategy, and I sold this home in only 5 days on the market. How did I do it? Well, one thing is, and then you pull one of those tidbits from your listing presentation and you stick it there in that postcard. And that becomes, you show off your success and then you explain the secret behind what you did that caused it to be successful. So when every postcard of yours goes out like that, now what's happening is your contacts, your sphere of influence, and anyone else that you're mailing it to, they're reading this postcard and they're going, wow, Beatty really understands what he's doing. I'm impressed. Beatty is an expert. Look, he's selling again. Here's another great sale. Here's another great sale. And so what happens is that they remember it here, and then when it's time to call an agent or refer, you're the one that gets it. So that's postcards. The last thing I want to talk about on this video is emails. Now, a lot of people will use the standard drip email series that your company provides. Don't do that, okay? Companies notoriously have no clue what it takes to persuade a consumer or to get in front of a consumer in a favorable fashion. So I was doing a podcast recently on this, and let me just ask you a question. Are all touches equal? Okay? So if I'm going to send an email, is every email equal value in the touch that it creates? And if you say yes, you're wrong. Let me see if I can give you an example. I'm just going to do a real high contrast. I send an email with the subject line, I hate you, okay? And I write a little note, John, I just want you to know how much I detest you, I despise you, I think you're ugly, I don't like anything about you, your wife is ugly too, and I hate your kids, okay? Now that's a touch, but is it favorable or negative? Okay, it's negative. But what if I send another email? I really appreciate you. Hey John, I just want to let you know how much I really appreciate you, and here's why. And I start to list all of these things that I'm appreciative of him about. Things that he's helped me with, things that there's the character qualities and how great he is to his wife and his children. Now that's a favorable touch. So not all touches are the same. So when you just put your list of people in that company provided drip email series and push send and don't do anything else about it, it's just a crapshoot, okay? if you want it to be effective, you've got to make sure that emails are desired, that the prospect actually is enjoying reading those emails, wants to receive them. Let me give you a tale of 2 email series. I know it because it's firsthand. I bought a house. My loan officer put me on a drip email series. It comes out about every 4 weeks, maybe every 5 weeks. And it's the silliest stuff, and it's a nuisance to me. I don't even bother opening them up because I see that it's an automated email, okay? And like one of them is how to clean pillows. I don't care about cleaning pillows. Or another one might be, and I'm just making this one up, it's springtime, so it's time to plant pretty flowers in your front yard. Here's how. Go down to the garden shop, find the prettiest flowers, buy them, bring them back, and stick them in the ground. Okay, it's really stupid stuff, but what it's designed to do is saying, hey, I'm just trying to touch you. So he's doing that once every 4 or 5 weeks, so he's touching me somewhere between 10 and 12 times. And I hate it because it's no value. It's a nuisance. But watch that. Another email that we do with our clients actually goes out every single week. 52 touches. And one of our clients, he just got on our system, and he's been, I think, maybe 3 weeks. And we were on the phone with him, and he was saying, his name is Jaime, and he was saying, you know, I really love these emails. We call them Monday Morning Coffee because, you know, I've gotten already several responses from my contacts saying how much they love it. And what do we do different? And here's what I suggest that you do. A human interest story. Give them something uplifting, something to think about. If you're old enough to remember Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, we always want to listen to the rest of the story because it always has a good ending. Or maybe you're watching, you know, local TV news and they have what's called a human interest story, and it's something good that's happening in the community that someone did. And they're always uplifting. We want those type of things. So make your touches that, because now you can send it out every week. They not only receive it, they see your name is coming from you, but they want to open it and read it, and it's leaving them with a positive flavor at that moment. So that's why we call it Monday Morning Coffee, because it's a great way to start your week off, and we can touch that person 52 times a year, and they love every single touch. Okay? So now there's one other thing you can do with your sphere of influence. I'm going to stop this video and move into the next one, but we call it supercharging your results, and it's all about using a special technique in marketing where you can take that list of yours, of your sphere of influence and other people you know, and with great accuracy identify people who are thinking right now about selling their home. Because if you can just simply pick up the phone and say, hey, Sue, I understand you might be thinking about selling. Can I talk? Then Sue's going to say yes, and now you got a listing. So that's on the next video. Hope this has been helpful. By the way, if you like this content, please do 3 things. Like the video, comment on it so I can see what type of feedback and how I can improve on it, and also share it, okay? And this seems maybe overwhelming, you want someplace that you can just turn all this stuff over and say, just handle it. I want to focus on selling, not on marketing, okay? Then, if you do at least $5 million a year in volume, and you have a list of at least 100 people you've already compiled with their mailing addresses, and possibly email addresses of people you know, then at that point we can possibly help you. Go to agentdominator.info to learn more. And one more plug, getsellerscallingyou.com is a site that is being put together that will have all kinds of free resources and training and other content to help you in your business. Hope this has been helpful. God bless.